Dillian,
Yeah,
here we are, another big fight for you. How difficult has the last 2-3 years been?
it's been tough, bro. Been very tough, very, very. You know, being kicked out into the long grasses. You know, obviously, just out there, just surviving, bro. Surviving. I see everyone's career going good, everyone progressing, and I'm just stuck and just lost and just don't know if I'm going or coming, bro. It's been dark, it's been hard, it's been tough. You know, it's like even a friend of mine said, bro, if it was me like, I'd have quit and go and get a job. And I was like, yo, I love fighting, bro. I said, listen, quitting for fight is one of the worst things you can do as a person. It's something that, you know, I have to fight. You know, I have to fight. It cost me a fortune, but I have to fight, man.
Was there ever a conversation that you had in your mind about
every day, bro?
Maybe we don't do this anymore. Maybe
every day for 3 years, bro. No, every day for 3 years, bro. Imagine waking up and having to train and you're just nothing. You know, it's like going in the last couple of fights, just still not even there. Just fighting with my natural ability and natural fighting instincts. You know, just okay. I don't need to be at my best to beat people. You know, just going out and just fighting and doing what I do.
When the Joe Joyce fight fell off injury, again, did that affect you? Like, okay, here we go again. This is just crazy.
It did, man, because I had a good camp and I was ready. And Joe's always been someone I wanted to fight because he's so tough and so strong. You know, he's always been someone that I always wanted to fight. You know what I mean? And then everything's going good, and then boom, look, my hand's not even healed properly. It looks like a shark. My kid likes it though. I'll do baby shark with me there. He said, Dad, it looks like you should get a shark tattoo. And they're like, get out of here, man.
When that happens, when fights fall off, when you start getting injured, are you questioning whether or not you're still the top guy, or is it a case of let me just get a big fight?
No, you know, injuries happen, bro. Everybody get injured, you know. Everybody get injuries because we train hard and then sparring. Sometimes these young guys, you know, they're revved up and they want to prove themselves, want to show themselves. So injuries happen and they're testing you. They're raising the, you know what I mean? So you have to hang with them.
You're almost their final.
Yeah, you're hanging, you know, they want to prove themselves, you know, and they want to get signed, and they want to prove themselves, you know, and they want to test themselves. So, you know, and then you're training amongst them and then you're pushing yourself, but it's great energy and it's a great life source as well.
I always thought of you, and you can say I'm wrong here, I always thought of you as the man that has so many options, because you fought a lot of the top guys, Chisora, Parker, AJ, your name's always been linked with them. Why Moses Itauma?
No one wants to fight him.
So you run to the fire?
Yeah, because, listen, you know, if I have the same mindset as everyone, boxing will be dead. Then you will start complaining, no one wants to fight no one. You know what's funny? I get a lot of stick for stepping up to the plate and trying to do stuff. People should be glad about that and should be glad that there's someone that, look, Chisora, no. Learn Sakoli, no. All of these guys, AJ, no. None of these guys want to fight him. So imagine I done the same thing, I took a coward tactics and say, the side eye and say, no, bro. Someone have to step up to the plate. And so I'm saying, these are the boxing fans go wrong. They rather ridicule and put that person down instead of thinking, you know what? He actually wants to fight. He's a warrior. He wants to give a good fight. He wants to you know what I mean? So I don't get it, but maybe I'm crazy. I see things differently. I have a different mindset, a different thinking with certain things, you know? And all that matters is what me and my family thinks, bro. I don't care what no one else thinks. That's it.
You know, when I saw the Ebenezer Tete fight, I was like, I don't know if it's there for Dillian anymore.
Yeah, of course. Of course, lots of people think that, but that's the reason why I've got this fight. If I blew Tete away in a round and I was in amazing shape,
they wouldn't pick you.
They would think, no. But, you know, that's why I got this fight. And sometimes a blessing is in, that's why I have more faith in God now than ever, because sometimes there's a blessing inside something that you don't see. And if your eyes is not open and your mind is not open and you haven't got faith, then you will not see it, you know?
I did a video the other day. It was you versus Chisora, the first fight, and I was watching it back. And you almost were in the same shape you're in now. I think it was about 250 pounds, 240 pounds. And you were vicious, you were boxing. And I'm like, as I was watching, I was like, how much of that Dillian is still around? Because if that Dillian is still around, then I think we all know there's a problem on Saturday. Can that guy still be around?
It's funny because, it's funny to hear that because no one thought about that. No one mentioned that until now. It's funny that's why I laid low in my camp. I didn't say nothing because everyone was talking shit and saying this and saying that. Then now, and that just shows you the true extent of people and people's nature, you know. They write you off and say you're this and that, and then they see you smiling, you're looking healthy and stuff, and then, oh, well, maybe people just stick to their opinion, bro, you know, it's crazy, but.
Do you think you have anything to prove to yourself on Saturday?
No, I ain't got nothing to prove to myself, bro. I'm alive, brother. You know, I'm someone who shouldn't be alive, and if I was alive, I shouldn't be where I am, you know. Sometimes I don't think about what I've done and where, but sometimes I think about it and I think, oh man, it's unbelievable. It's like, you know, the people who I'm able to reach and inspire, what I've done, how I've done it. Because, bro, no one's ever been inside of me and looked after me and give me anything. Or no one's ever strategically planned my career. We're gonna do this. It's okay. There's Linus, you fight him or you don't fight. There's Cesaro, you fight him or you don't fight. Okay, Cesaro's not ready, fight Ian Lewison instead. Okay, fight Joseph Parker, just lost on Joshua, which Parker come out dangerous and motivated because he didn't, you know, he's thinking, I've been boxing since I was 10 years old, who is this guy? You know what I mean? Fight Lucas Brown, he just knock everyone out. Is fight Oscar, you know, I've always had to take the hard fights, bro. I've never had, you see these guys lose and then
there's a plan.
Me versus Franklin, the winner's meant to fight AJ. AJ boxed Franklin and Franklin lose to me. You see what I'm saying? It's like these guys always been looked after and had their career. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy. I never had that, bro. I just had to just, yeah, so yeah.
You know, they're probably not going to like me for saying this, but you know they've picked you to lose. You've been brought here to lose.
Of course.
This is the future for them.
Of course, yes. Of course, bro. Of course. I ain't stupid, bro. I ain't stupid. You know, I know the game and I don't take it personal. They're already talking about him fighting Usyk.
Yeah.
The fight even happened yet. They're talking about him fighting Usyk right away. Of course. You know, of course, but what am I gonna do? Be scared and start crying and say, you guys, oh, you know, only God alone call the shots in this world, bro. You can say what you want, do what you want, be whatever you want. God call the shots. If it's to be, it will be, you know, obviously. And you can't go against God's plan, bro.
This is true. What's your plan?
My plan is God's plan.
But you've missed out. I remember speaking to you once and I said, Dillian, you've missed out on all this Riyadh, Saudi Arabia money. Everyone's been fighting everyone. You've not had anything.
You know what's mad? You know, I had a tough day one time in training, a tough day. And then I was driving. I drove my van to training that day and I was sitting there thinking, damn. 3 years ago, I was just sitting there and watching, hoping to get a chance to go back to the table and to take part in the big events again. And then I'm like, fuck that tough day. You know, and then it motivated me, you know what I mean? I was thinking 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, I would have been happy just to, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
One thing we haven't seen, obviously, is activity. The last 3 years is...
Yeah.
Are you planning to stay busy now, active now?
I would love to.
Another fight by the end of the year, another fight.
I would, bro. I've had, you know, early in my career, if you look at my, sometimes I fought 3 times in 1 month. I had 3 fights in 1 month. I love it, bro. I actually enjoy fighting, bro. I'd love to. And then that way you get better. You learn more and then more camps and stuff and then you work and stuff. I'd love to be busy, bro. I'd love to be busy. I just, you know, now boxing isn't a good place. It's about entertainment and good fights. You know, I just want to be busy, bro. I just want to be busy, you know. I'd love to have a few more fights. So yeah, you know, I'm here ready and willing to fight, bro. You know, now gone are the days where he don't want to fight him, he's worrying about him.
Forces these fights now,
yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm in Turkey. That's why I'm grateful for him to even consider me and for him to be in boxing. He's making these fights happen.
Yeah, you fought in Saudi Arabia years ago, Maris Vac,
Yeah.
AJ Ruiz undercard. What's it like now? Come out here, you're headlining, you're the main event now.
You know what? It's crazy. Like I'm alpha male, I'm wild, all this stuff, but I'm also very calm and very humble at the same time. It's like a massive enigma. I'm like, so I'm just humble and just chilled. I don't think, see a lot of guys trotting around with 10 guys and, bro, I'm just here with Magic, Victor and Buddy, bro. Just that's it. A couple guys gonna join in a couple of days, but that's me, bro. You know, I'm just a humble guy. I don't walk around and, you know, it's like, you know, I'm calm, humble, but wild at the same time, bro.
Would you say this is your best shape in years, Dillian?
I don't know, man.
You know.
Bro, I don't know, bro.
When you put that video up, or Queensbury put that video up of you hitting the body bag, everyone went a bit crazy.
I don't know, bro. Listen, I'm not an expert, bro. I don't know. I let everybody decide, bro. Everybody decide, and everybody. I never get credit for anything, bro, so I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I get credit for it or not, bro. Bro, what have I ever get credit for in boxing? Tell me one thing I got credit for in boxing.
Joseph Parker win. Nah,
But I don't get no credit for people say I was lucky that it wasn't a 15-round fight. That's all they say. Because I got knocked down 10 seconds in the last round. I was lucky there wasn't one more minute. I'm like, motherfucker, it was a 12-round fight. Like, how can I be lucky? It's a 12-round fight. He should knock me down earlier then, you know? And he couldn't finish, you know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. You know, when I'm gone and people realize that, you know what? Hopefully they do. They realize that he fought anyone, he came to fight, he gave us a good fight. He might not be the best fighter, the strongest fighter, the fastest fighter, but he fought anyone there was for him to fight.
If I could ask you to pick your next 2 hit list opponents, who's the 2 people you want to fight? Like, you could pick anyone.
You know, I'd love to fight Usyk because he's a great fighter, and then, you know, I'm always pursuing the biggest challenge. But I'd also love to fight Fury and AJ again because they're the other 2 guys I lost to. I've avenged one, I'd love a chance to avenge the other ones.
Dillian, good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, God bless, thank you.
I freaking love that. Kudos to you, kudos to him. I love that for 2 reasons, Ade. Number one, you guys had an issue. He could have said, to hell with Ade, he picked against me, I'm not doing this. He showed up, He gave you thoughtful, good answers. That like 10-second pause when you asked him, do you have anything to prove to yourself? When a fighter, when a guest gives you that long pause, some hate that. I adore that because that means that they really care and they're being thoughtful and they're being introspective. Tremendous job. I thought that there was love and respect. He actually, like, I love Moses, but like after watching that, I feel like I'm rooting for Dillian because he came off so well in that interview.
Dude, he was fantastic. And again, just to kind of give people a bit of background, we obviously had that little thing at the face-off. He left the room, and then he went and done several interviews. And him coming back into the room, I have to admit, I was a bit like, okay, what's going to happen here? Is he going to just give me one-word answers, which some have done in the past, or is he going to give me an interview? And he gave me an interview, and that was a mature Dillian Whyte. That was a guy that's sort of at peace, kind of where he is, disgruntled about boxing as a whole, right? I mean, Dillian's never had the red carpet rolled out to him. He's not an Olympian. He's not AJ. He's not Fury. And I think he understands that. He's also a man that's definitely backs against the wall, but also a man that is married. He's got kids. He's got a family. And I think he's now a wiser Dillian Whyte. Like Dillian Whyte of 10 years ago, he's probably not doing that interview with me. He's angry. He's maybe throwing his toys at the pram, if you like. Dillian Whyte now, I think, is a completely different person.
Do you agree with his sentiment that he doesn't get any credit? We might have lost out of there. Okay.
I think he does.
Yep.
I think, and that's why I said the Joseph Parker fight.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I think he does get credit. I think he was on a perfect run. 2018 to 2021, when he beat the likes of Oscar Rivas, beat Derek Chisora, beat Joseph Parker, beat Lucas Brown. He got credit for those fights. I think people have maybe poo-pooed on his last 3 or 4 years. And I think even if Dillian, if he's honest with himself, will look at the last 3 or 4 years and think, I could and should have done more. He should have fought AJ again. He didn't look really good in the Jermaine Franklin fight. He didn't look good in the Christian Hamer fight. So there's been holes there. And I think Dillian now will admit that. And now it's a case of, okay, what can I do with this final chapter in my career? And it starts on Saturday.
Well, by all accounts, and I saw this tweet from Dev of Queensberry fame, he seems to be in incredible shape. We haven't seen the weigh-ins just yet. Those will be on Friday. But on the left is the last time we saw him weighed in, and the right appears to be how he looks going into this fight. So he's obviously taking it very seriously.